Hey everybody, welcome back. Movie number 15. As I stated last time, this one is a sequel. It is Samurai 2. Sorry for my inability to pronounce foreign words and names. Samurai 2, Duel at Ichijoji Temple. Again, directed by Hiroshi Inagaki in Japan, 1955, just the next year. If the first samurai movie was about Musashi Miyamoto learning to control his anger and become a man rather than an animal, which is one of the themes. This movie is about him learning to become a samurai instead of a man with a sword. Right? That is kind of his personal journey here. We'll cover the main... The essence of the plot is... as he is traveling and sharpening his skills, he encounters this samurai sword school, and he challenges the students. And when he finds that the students aren't a match for him, he challenges the master of the school to prove his worth, to prove his value. You'll have to excuse the dogs. They insisted on being in here when I film. Zoe, come here. Alright, she'll behave now. So he challenges the master of the school, and normally the master would have to accept, and they would duel, and if the master was better, anyway. But in this case, the students are very offended that this nobody would challenge their master, and instead all of the students of this school decide to throw aside honor and spend most of the movie trying to kill him before he can fight their master, to teach him a lesson. That's the basic plot of the movie, and I'm starting to realize after watching all of Zatoichi, which I still need to do a video on, and reading all of Usagi Yojimbo, which is a comic about a samurai rabbit, but its stories are all based in or around the same time period and the same stories and the same values. There's some name crossovers. I think I might have encountered all the possible samurai stories because I've seen this one before. Anyway, it's a good movie. Two things I want to point out about the movie. First of all, the first two movies, and almost certainly the third one, the color is beautiful. Just like the movies look great. I rarely see the color look exactly like this, and I lack the vocabulary to truly describe to you how good it looks, to me at least. But the colors are vibrant and distinct without being oversaturated. They're not muted. Even when they're shooting day for night, which I'll explain in a second, the colors are distinct and look good. I love the look of these movies. Day for Night is... Shooting at night is hard, because in order for us to see, obviously it has to be lit. But if you overlight it, then it doesn't look like night anymore, right? It looks like day. Getting your lights right to shoot something at night so that it looks like nighttime, but we can still clearly see everything, is difficult. And in the older days, and this is from the 50s, and even nowadays some people do it, but it's generally not done anymore unless you're on like a no budget. It was easier to just film your night scenes during the day and then kind of turn down the brightness on the scene afterward so it looks like night. Day for Night never really fools anybody. You can... I feel like most people can look and go, oh, yeah, that wasn't really shot at nighttime. But it actually still looks pretty decent here. It doesn't look like nighttime still, but it still looks good and you can see everything. So I like that. The other thing I wanted to talk about is, in case you haven't seen a lot of samurai movies, the way samurai fights work. Because typically if you're picturing sword fights, it's a lot of clang, 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 right? But in samurai films, that's almost never how it works. It is usually whoever hits first, one hit, done. If it's a particularly challenging fight, typically they circle each other. I only have one hand now. They circle each other, back and forth, looking for an opening, and then in a flash, they attack. Wah-wah! And then you see which one of them falls to the ground dead. If it is a particularly challenging fight where they're equally skilled, they may clang off each other once, step back, do it again, and then one of them dies. Which is very different from what we would see in like a knight's combat or Western style sword fighting, where it would be a whole bunch of, dun 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 dun. Wah. So it's fun because it's quick. There's a lot of tension that builds up before the strike, and then boom, it's over. But what they'll also frequently do in these movies is your main character, to prove how great he is, will go up against overwhelming numbers. It happens multiple times in this movie, where there's like 20 guys or more circling and coming forward and trying to strike, and he's just, that guy's dead, that guy's dead. To show you that it's not just luck that he wins his duels. The movie also opens with a fun duel. It opens with a duel that takes longer than just slice, because it's not two swordsmen going against each other. It's our character, who is a swordsman, going up against somebody who is wielding a chain with a hook on the end of it and a sickle in the other hand. I have a puppy in the other hand, which makes the battle very different. That was fun to see. All of our characters return. It's a little interesting because we learn that there's a 5-year gap between the end of the first movie and the beginning of this one. During that 5 years, he's been traveling and sharpening his skills as a samurai. All of the characters from the first movie return. And they're all in the same situation, circumstances, feelings, everything as they were at the end of that movie. So in that 5 years, the only thing that changed was that our main character got better at sword fighting. That's it. That's the only change. It might as well be the next day, except he's better at sword fighting. But I kind of like it, because often when you're doing a series, the sequel will have leftover threads from the first one. Maybe a character doesn't return that you wanted to see because they couldn't get the actor, or that wasn't the story they wanted to tell. This, I guess, being a trilogy based on a single biography, is really just a solid thread. I've only seen 2 so far, but I feel like you could watch this entire trilogy in one sitting, and it's just one super long movie, because there is not a distinct difference between where one movie ends and the next begins. The first movie has a 3-year time jump in it that's just like, boom, 3 years later. So having 5 years later, but nobody's motivations or situations have changed, fits the feeling of the movie anyway. Anyway, I've enjoyed the movie. I've liked it a lot. I'm looking forward to the third movie, which I know a little bit about, but I guess we'll talk about it for the third movie. I know a little bit about the historical things. You pick up stuff. So, next time, we will do Samurai 3, Duel at Ganryu Island. From Japan, 1956, Hiroshi Inagaki. That's all I've got for now, though. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.